One more minute.
It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join News Director Paul David and News Editor Philip Catafamo as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics in Yavapai County that affect all our lives. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. As always, we appreciate you joining us in studio. Today, our guest is ADOT's MVD Assistant Communications Director for Customer Outreach, Doug Pacey. Welcome to studio, Doug.
Hi, Paul. Happy to be here.
Good, good. Thank you very much for being here. Websites for you folks. ADOT.gov is the basic website to go there, and then ServiceArizona.com. You've heard us talk about that one a lot over the last several years for all kinds of different things you can do in Arizona online at ServiceArizona.com, and you're going to hear that come up probably several times during today's show. The reason I had Doug Pacey come in today, or at least join us today for the show, was I want to say over the last couple of years, we've heard a lot about how the motor vehicle division in the state has really done a great job of taking, say, what used to be a 40-minute visit to the motor vehicle division office down to a 20-minute visit, if even that. Last time I think I went to an MVD office years ago was maybe an hour I was there, but the last time I went in towards the end of 2019 to get my travel ID, I had what I needed with me, and I went in and I was there for less than 10 minutes in shop. Now this year, we've got the pandemic and COVID-19 going on, and I follow ADOT on Twitter so I can see when road closures and things like that are happening. And I'll notice every now and again there's a tweet, Doug, for the motor vehicle division about, wow, I just spent 2 hours on hold on the phone waiting to talk to somebody, or I was at the MVD office and it took me 2 hours while I was in there, or I can't get through, I can't get the information I need. There's some frustration going on with the length of time it's taking for some folks to get things done through the motor vehicle division. And it's so unusual because, like I said, a few years prior to this COVID year, it's gotten faster and faster and faster. Can you address some of this and why things did slow down? Because I know back in March, we started delaying some things that needed to be done because of COVID-19, but it has slowed down at the MVD offices this year. Go ahead and talk a little bit about it and fill us in.
Yeah, like you said, we had worked really hard over the past few years to get those wait times down, and the average wait time was somewhere in the 20, 25-minute range for people. But, then the pandemic hits, and in March, we could process about 14,000 people a day in our offices statewide. And when the pandemic hit, we had to reduce that number, and we can only process about 5,000 people per day in our offices statewide. And the reason for that is, we have on any given day about 75% of our workforce is available because of COVID-19 related issues. And also we have to come into an MVD office, you have to schedule an appointment now. So our business model before that was a walk-in business model. We had to change our business model to an appointment-only business model. And so we went from being able to service, like I said, 14,000 people a day to about 5,000 people a day. And the difference there, those people who can't go into the office every day, they have to be serviced either online, over the phone, or at authorized third-party offices. Like you mentioned Service Arizona earlier, a lot of people are familiar with Service Arizona. You can do a lot of things on there. It's been around for years. Registration renewals are popular with Service Arizona. We also rolled out AZMVDnow.gov in April. And this has been planned for years prior to the pandemic. Unfortunately, we were able to roll it out in April, right after the pandemic hit, because it's been very helpful for us and for Arizonans. Every Arizonan has an account. I should say, every Arizonan with a driver license or a registered vehicle in Arizona has an account at AZMVDnow.gov. You just have to go to the site, enter your information, your driver's license number, your vehicle registrations, things like that, into the site, prove that you are who you are. You'll see some questions on there, and then your account is active. And with AZMVD Now, you can do about 2/3 of all MVD transactions online, from your home, your couch, your office, wherever you may be. You can do it all online. Things like registration renewals, title transfers, sold notices, 3-day permits. You can schedule some appointments, some in-office appointments online through your AZMVD Now account, so you don't have to wait on the phone lines. It's anyone who's tried to call MVD in the past few months. It's no secret that the volume we receive on that phone, on the MVD hotline, it's really heavy. It's big because, like I said, we could serve 14,000 people per day in an office statewide before the pandemic, and now we're down to about 5. That's
how many people do you actually have that can actually answer that phone line in the state?
I do not know that, but I do know we are expanding our phone. We have expanded the phone. How do I want to say this? We've expanded the number of calls we're able to take. Up through July, we could handle about 5,000. Let me double check my numbers here. Up through July, we could take about 5,000 calls a day. But at the end of July, we had implemented some new technology things, technology solutions. We made it possible for people who are working from home, whether for COVID-related issues. Kids can't go to camp. They couldn't go to preschools or day schools sometimes. Maybe their school is online, and so the mom or the dad has to stay home. They can work from home now. We added the ability for them to work from home. But I guess getting back to the numbers, through July, we could handle about 5,000 phone calls a day. Now we're taking about 13,000 phone calls a day. So that has improved in the last few months. We can handle, more than double the amount of phone calls now than we were through July.
What have been some of the other challenges that you guys have experienced with the COVID-19? Because basically, going back to the beginning of the show there where we started, I have to imagine some of your offices, if one person has it and they've been in the office with everybody else, I would have to assume that maybe that office is like completely closed for a period of time. Have you had some of that happen this year where you had an office, say, on this particular location, but now that office is pretty much done for about, at the beginning of the pandemic, it was a good 2 weeks, I believe, you needed to be quarantined. It may still be that, but...
Yeah, we're no different than any other business. If someone gets sick or they show symptoms, things like that, they're sent home, and we're all asked not to come in. We have to take those steps too. The MVD has never MVD as a whole, our offices have never shut down since the pandemic started. We've always remained open, albeit with the appointment business model rather than the walk-in. Not every state can say that. We've kept MVDs open the entire time, but anyone who's tried to get into the MVD or on the phone line, they've experienced that frustration. We experience it daily. We're always working to try and find new ways, continually improving to get back to the level of customer service that, like you mentioned at the beginning of the show, people expect from us, what we expect from ourselves.
Yeah, it's, the last person I talked to for guests, it's interesting to see how the different agencies that come in and do the show right now, just kind of how COVID-19, the pandemic hit them, and the creative ways they have to deal with it. And like you said, you've gone from 5,000 calls, where I was probably seeing those tweets since you were doing about 15,000 people in the shops and stuff, or the storefronts, I should say. And now you're getting that call volume back up again. So it shows that, okay, MVD's got this issue, but these are the solutions we're going to come up with. We're going to give it a try and see if it works. We have to take our first break. Can we do that real quick? ADOT.gov is a good website for you to go to. ServiceArizona.com. Literally just about anything you want to do in the state, you can do through ServiceArizona.com. ADOT's MVD Assistant Communications Director for Customer Outreach, Doug Pacey, is with me today on the show. Stick around, Countywide, back in just a couple minutes.
Starting in the late 1920s, Grandpa Gettle and his brothers laid the groundwork for what would become a family legacy. Almost 100 years and 100 patents later, Gettle's High Desert Mechanical continues to raise the bar of quality heating, cooling, and plumbing products and services in the Verde Valley.
Call Gettle's High Desert Mechanical Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing at 567-2200 or online at GettlesHDM.com, providing solutions for your comfort. Don't settle. Get Gettles.
Hi, this is Greg at Verde Solar Power. You know, Arizona has lots of clean, renewable sunshine, and we want to help you take advantage of it with our quality solar installations, and we offer to beat any written offer on a residential solar electric system. So bring us your electric bill and let us show you how solar power will save you money. We're located conveniently here in the Verde Valley and are dedicated to helping the valley go solar. So remember, the energy solution comes up every morning.
So I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Orkin has pest control down to a science.
When your business chooses Orkin's Precision Protection Program, you get a tailored pest control program for your specific industry and environment.
Your business can benefit from over a century of experience, training, and scientific knowledge that define the Orkin man.
Maximum protection, minimum exposure, backed by one of the industry's most comprehensive guarantees.
Choose your locally owned and operated Northern Arizona Orkin and get more than an exterminator. Get an expert.
Welcome back to Countywide. We're talking with Doug Pacey from ADOT's MVD. He's the Assistant Communications Director for the Customer Outreach. There's a lot of Dougs down there. Doug Ninsel, Doug Nick, Doug Pacey. You're my third Doug to go through now.
Yep,
actually,
there are a lot of Doug.
I may have had a fourth Doug. Okay, so we've talked a bit about the challenges that MVD is no different than any other agency in the state or any other business or any other person in the state. We've all had our challenges in 2020 for sure. And so this is some of the things that you guys have done. That website again was at AZMVDnow.gov?
Yeah, it's AZMVDnow.gov. And I do want to correct you. The main ADOT website, it's AZDOT.gov.
AZDOT.gov. AZDOT.gov. I missed the Z in there. Okay, so let's talk about this, because just before we started the show, you know, I mentioned one of the things that I've seen on Twitter a few times is that it seems to be the wait on the phone to try to make an appointment with MVD that really gets people kind of frustrated, because I see comments like it's been 2 hours or something. I've been on hold for 2 hours. I don't know if that's the case, but that's what's being said. So that's what made me want to get you guys to come in here. What kind of things do I have to, now that you're with COVID-19 in place and it's here, it is very, you've mentioned it a couple of times now, it's very, you have to have a reservation. You have to have an appointment. It's appointment based. So what things do I need to get a hold of the motor vehicle division? What kind of appointments do I need in order to come in where I physically have to be in front of, say, you, Doug, to get something done?
Well, I guess there's 2/3 of all MVD transactions can be done online, but I guess we can talk about that later. Things that must be done in an office. If you want your travel ID, you have to do that in an office. To take a road test, we don't have virtual road tests. You have to make an appointment to do that in an office. However, you do not have to go on the phone to make an appointment for travel ID, a vehicle road test, a motorcycle road test, a driver's license renewal, or to take the permit test. You can do all those things online. Like I said, go to AZMVDnow.gov. Once your account is active, you can go in there, schedule an online appointment for any of those things. There's other things you have to go in. There's so many little things that affect small groups of people. I don't want to get into everything that requires an office visit.
Sure.
Those 5 things you can schedule online. 2/3, like I said, 2/3 of all MVD transactions can be done online, whether through servicearizona.com or AZMVDnow.gov. You know, if you've been using Service Arizona for years, you're familiar with it, you're comfortable with it. Some of the things you used to be able to do on there, now if you go to Service Arizona, say you want to do that item, it will send you to AZMVDnow.gov. AZMVDnow.gov has more offerings. You can do more things online. It also adds layers of security for us, for MVD, and for the customer that help prevent fraud, help prevent identity theft. as you can imagine, when you're dealing with driver's licenses, vehicle registrations, titles, things like that, you want to protect yourself, and we want to protect you too. So when you go into AZMVDnow.gov, like I said, everyone who's got a license or a vehicle registered with the state, you've got an account. Enter the information as you're prompted. You'll see the levels of security, the kind of questions it asks, things like that. And then you'll get in. And then every time you go back, it'll ask, well, it won't ask, it'll ask for your login, your password, things like that. Then it'll send you a code to your phone or an email address, things like that. And then you enter a PIN that you're able to set. We don't set those. So there's levels of security there that, should make you feel comfortable. It adds a couple extra steps, but it also protects you. No one wants their identity stolen. So I guess people, if they need to do things with the MVD, if you've got your vehicle registration, don't try and make an appointment, because you can't make an appointment for a vehicle registration. And don't call up. Just go on the phone, or don't go on the phone unless you're using it to browse the web. Go online, go online, and do it there. Vehicle registration renewals, those are the most common things people do every year. Most people don't interact with the MVD on a yearly basis except to renew their registration. There's no need for you to go into the office to get on the phone. Just go online and do it that way.
Okay. All right. So there's a lot of stuff. Again, I guess if I'm not comfortable with going online to do stuff, then all of this is going to have to be done through an MVD office, and I'm probably going to have to go through the phone. And at this point in time, I'm probably going to have to expect to have a bit of a wait. If I'm not comfortable doing these things online, I'm going to have to be ready to go through possibly some delays with getting it done.
Or if you want to go, if you're not comfortable doing it online, you can also go to an authorized third-party office. I believe there's one in Prescott Valley, and in Cottonwood in your area. You do those. They're it's a third party, but they're MVD. They work with us. We work with them. They're
under your umbrella.
Yes, they're under our umbrella. They're legitimate. You can go there. They do not for their in-person or their in-office visits. They don't require appointments, so you can go there. You can go to our website and find their hours and their locations, and what they offer. Not every office offers the same thing. Some don't offer road tests, some do. So check out our website to see what they offer and get their information. And if you have questions, you can also call them to see if the transaction you want to complete is something they can do. But the authorized third-party offices, they don't require appointments. If you're an in-person kind of person, that sounds silly, but if you want to do things in person, that's an avenue you can seek out too.
Okay, all righty. And there are a few things that have been postponed again. I know when I had Doug Nick in here last year, we were talking about the travel ID. We got to take a break here in just a few seconds, but we had to talk about travel ID. I know it got pushed back a little bit, the deadline for that, and I believe that's been pushed back even more again because of the pandemic. So let's take our second break. Again, websites, we got AZDOT.gov for the Arizona Department of Transportation, ServiceArizona.com, but as Doug Pacey just mentioned, your own personal accounts now probably been moved over to the AZMVDnow.gov website, AZMVDnow.gov. Stick around. Countywide will be back in just a couple of minutes.
Starting in the late 1920s, Grandpa Gettle and his brothers laid the groundwork for what would become a family legacy. Almost 100 years and 100 patents later, Gettle's High Desert Mechanical continues to raise the bar of quality heating, cooling, and plumbing products and services in the Verde Valley.
Call Gettle's High Desert Mechanical Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing at 567-2200 or online at GettelsHDM.com, providing solutions for your comfort. Don't settle. Get Gettles.
Hi, this is Greg at Verde Solar Power. Arizona has lots of clean, renewable sunshine, and we want to help you take advantage of it with our quality solar installations, and we offer to beat any written offer on a residential solar electric system. So bring us your electric bill and let us show you how solar power will save you money. We're located conveniently here in the Verde Valley and are dedicated to helping the valley go solar. So remember, the energy solution comes up every morning.
So I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Orkin has pest control down to a science.
When your business chooses Orkin's Precision Protection Program, you get a tailored pest control program for your specific industry and environment.
Your business can benefit from over a century of experience, training, and scientific knowledge that define the Orkin man.
Maximum protection, minimum exposure, backed by one of the industry's most comprehensive guarantees.
Choose your locally owned and operated Northern Arizona Orkin and get more than an exterminator. Get an expert.
Welcome back to Countywide. We've got just a few minutes left in the program. We're sitting down with the Motor Vehicle Division's Customer Outreach Assistant Communications Director, Doug Pacey. AZDOT.gov is one website you can go to for the Department of Transportation. ServiceArizona.com for quite a few different things. And now in Arizona, the AZMVDnow.gov site is up and running. And everyone's got an account on there as long as you're, you licensed in Arizona or registration in Arizona. You should have an account there, correct, Doug?
Yes, if you have an Arizona license or a vehicle registered in Arizona, you are in the system,
Okay.
And so you have an account.
Okay, all right. Based off of our name, I would imagine, and then a few other things as we go in, as you mentioned that as well. There's there's some security checkpoints to go through. Last time Nick was here talking for the MVD, we were talking about travel ID in general and how it was getting pushed back. The travel ID is what you need so you can fly out of the country. That's been pushed back even farther now. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
The travel ID deadline was October, well, I should say this month, October of 2020. But that has been pushed back to October 1 of 2021, so 12 months from now, I guess a little less, but a year from now. The travel ID, Real ID, is basically, it will allow you to fly. TSA will accept it at airports. You can get into federal buildings. It won't help you fly internationally. You still need a passport for that. But your standard Arizona driver's license, once the deadline of October 1, 2021 rolls around, will no longer be accepted by TSA. That's the big thing that will affect most of us, people like you and me. Okay. So you have a deadline that's been pushed back a year for the travel ID. If you want to keep your standard Arizona driver's license and you have a passport, you can use a passport to show that at TSA, things like that. But as far as driving in Arizona, a standard Arizona driver's license will continue to be good, but the travel ID just gives you, more. It lets you fly, lets you pass the TSA checkpoints, things like that.
Gotcha. Okay, convenience right there. Also, It looks like the driver license renewal has been extended as well due to COVID.
Yes. If you have a driver license that expires between March 1st and December 31st of this year, 2020, your license's expiration date has been extended by 1 year. So if your driver's license in your wallet or your purse says it expires on November 12th, 2020, it now expires November 12th, 2021. And we did that because most people's license expires when they turn 65. And this protects that group of people from having to make an in-office visit, go out, and renew their driver's license during a pandemic, a health crisis. So it extends that a year. So now if, let's say you're speeding, which we all know we shouldn't do, but let's say you're speeding, an officer pulls you over and you give him your license, your registration, and on your license, the physical license, it'll say, it expired in June of 2020. When the officer runs that through his system, the system will show June of 2021. So that is a good and valid driver's license. If you're the kind of person who wants a physical license that shows the extended expiration date, you can go to ServiceArizona.com or AZMVDnow.gov and request a duplicate license, and we will, and you pay the fee. We will mail you a duplicate license, and it will show the 2021 expiration date.
Okay. But not
Does that
necessary.
make sense? I know it's a lot of stuff. It's not necessary, but I mean,
right. If you want that
some
proof in your
people like
wallet
that.
or your purse,
Keep in
you've at least
mind.
got that proof.
Right.
We're out of time.
Correct.
We're out of time already,
Okay.
Doug. Again, AZMVDnow.gov. Give it a try. It's brand new. It's been in the state this year. I believe it was launched this year, correct, Doug?
It was launched in April. We have 1.2 million people have already activated their accounts.
There we go. So there's plenty more to go. So, Doug, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. ServiceArizona.com is always a great website as well. Keep that one in mind. And again, AZMVDnow.gov. That is today's Countywide. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and we will talk to you again next time.